Chief George, tell me, with what we saw in the UK elections and some of the reactions that that came out from, for example, Ed Miliband and Nick Clegg, would you subscribe that the PDP chairman should resign?
You know, the point is this. You see, in their country, they've come a long way into politics, and it is traditional. We are just getting to grips with what happens in a civilized setting. This is the first time in the history of politics, since, let's say, since 16 years ago, that a ruling party got a bloody nose, having been in power for 16 years. That would teach us a lesson. Now, what we are saying is that you cannot be a judge in your own case. Stand back, let an independent group do an assessment, call a meeting of all the various organs of the party, the caucus, the BOT, and the NEC, and whatever decisions the NEC takes will be executed, because it is the most powerful after the National Convention. So, and you can see what happens in civilized world. He ran an election, we got a bloody nose, we lost woefully. I said, I have ascribed some to being manipulations, but at our meeting, a closed-door meeting, we'll be able to do a thorough analysis. They will defend, like they are going on to the newspapers that are talking about. That is not discussions for the public. It's like you have your company. You'll be making gains, and suddenly you made tremendous losses. Do you go to the public place to start talking about whether this policy was right or who was responsible? You have a board meeting. You close up. The details that are for you will be analyzed, discussed. You'll be given an opportunity yourself to state your own side of the story. And if the NEC believes that there is need for further analysis, they will ask you, step aside, let's have some new people to manage it, look at it, set up a body. That is the way to survive.
So you're saying that Alhaji Muazu should step aside?
Step aside
and let resign or step aside?
Step aside so that an independent...
Does the constitution of the party actually allow for stepping aside if there is anything like that in the constitution of the party?
See, the constitution of the party, there is no provision that stated that you will lose an election like we did. And this is the first time.
Your party didn't envisage, your party never envisaged in its laws that you might lose an election.
We never envisaged it.
Is it just stated there? Maybe one of the reasons why some members of your party said your party will rule for 100 years, and some said 60 years. This looks so much like a blow too many for your party.
No. This, like I said, gave us a bloody nose. It wasn't an uppercut. It was a bloody nose. And that bloody nose, I'm saying that there is need for us to come back. Some are even saying...
You think it's not an uppercut?
No, it's not an uppercut.
Losing massively in the states and losing the center.
No. It's not an uppercut, because we still have 13 governors, remember, out of 36. We still have many members of the Senate,
the National Assembly,
but
all in the minority.
Yeah,
For the first time, your party will be in the minority in the two chambers of the National Assembly.
Now, even in civilized world, you cannot be top of the pops all the time. We have lost. We didn't envisage it. The best thing to do is go back inside, do a serious analysis of what happened. Maybe the fault will be mainly on the lapses of INEC, or lapses from our side, or the way the whole elections were managed, and you will come up with solutions.
All right. So you're on the same page with most of the governors of the PDP asking for the chairman of the party to resign.
Look, I'm not even talking about him resign. If you call this meeting, allegations will be levied. he will have a right to discuss, to defend himself, or at that meeting, they can say, okay, you have a weightier information than the way it's being ascribed against you. Let us have an independent body to manage the affairs of the party. In the meantime, allow a caretaker committee. A caretaker committee is not, is acceptable in our constitution, but it does not take over fully
the running of the party.
So
why are the governors of the party asking for his resignation?
They must have seen something which we don't see. They must have heard something, they must have handled something which we don't know. So for me, the most sensible thing to do is, you know, don't let us do it this, to me, it's not a decent...
Sorry to cut in. I've had conversation with a few members of your party, and some people are saying that for the first time in the history of the party, governors were being neglected, or they were not being carried along properly in a presidential election, an election of that magnitude. And that's one of the reasons why some of them are aggrieved.
You know, these are still side talks. Let's go in for a meeting. Let us sit down as members of this family. We will do a thoroughbred analysis, post-mortem analysis, and reasons will come up from there. But the way it's being handled, you find some senators are accusing their governors, and some governors are also accusing the members of the party. Who is accusing who? The most sensible thing to do, like I said, is let us meet. Let's discuss it.
All right. Just a moment. The spokesperson of your party actually came out. That's Chief Olisametu, and was giving reasons why the party lost. Let's take a listen to some of the reasons why he gave.
We generated more than 7 billion. We generated a lot of money. I'm also aware that in generating these funds that we spend billions of, we gave more, first of all, we made a donation. The first initial donation we made was #500 million naira to the presidential campaign funds. Even though we were not involved in raising campaign for the presidential campaign, there was a campaign, generating campaign funds that was done, and then they raised 21 billion naira. The party was not involved in it, and the party was not involved in anything to do. We cannot account for it because we're not involved in that money. We're not involved. It was a Jerry Ghana committee, and they handled it, and nobody can question us on accounting for that money. We do not have it. We do not have any knowledge of what happened or how it was distributed or what happened to it. And unlike what happens before, when the party is involved in raising of funds, we're not involved in it. And we're sidelined in the process of the campaign. We believe that if this working committee had handled the campaign of the president, we would have won the election. We were not involved. As National Public Secretary of the party, I had little or no role to play. I had absolutely no role to play throughout that campaign. The advice and suggestions were ignored. And I can put it on record. I can call the names of prominent leaders of this party. Even when we try to caution on issues that this campaign is on positivity, and it has to do with what the benefits Nigerians will get from our continuing in office, and not a question of name calling on the presidential candidate of the APC, and it's not an abuse. It was ignored.
All right, that's the spokesperson of the PDP, Chief Olisametu, talking about some of the reasons why the PDP lost in that election. Chief George, tell us, what do you make of the statement from your party spokesman?
You know, I also was one of the managers of the party for 10 years. This is the first time we had been given a bloody nose. And the best to do, which I will advise some of them, is to hold their fire. You don't go to the marketplace to deride your family members because you had some squabbles at home. Now, you've listened to his own side of the story. These are issues to be raised within the party when we have this closed-door meeting. And what I am still asking them to do as a matured mind is that you don't wash your dirty linens in public. Let them call a meeting. Let that meeting take decisions. He will make his allegations. You listen to his own side. The others will counter it. Decisions will be played. And we will know where and what to do next. That is what goes on. Now, those who are even on the opposition party, they have worse problems than we have because they are a conglomeration of strange bedfellows coming for the first time to manage the affairs of this great nation. And I wish them well.